Hello everyone, you are welcome back to my channel. My name is Helen. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening depending on your location. So today I would like us to implement Azure Point-to-Site VPN solution. Alright, so this Azure Point-to-Site VPN solution is basically a networking and security solution which you can implement in your environment in order to have a better and secured environment. So I'll encourage you to subscribe to this channel if you are yet to do so, and click on notification bell. That way you get notified each time I publish a new video. So basically this channel is for cloud and DevOps. So in this project today, I promise you it will be interesting. Alright, all you have to do is stick to the end of this project. Alright, make yourself comfortable and let's ride. If you are ready, I'm actually ready and we can get started. Now let's see what this project entails. So as a cloud engineer, your task is to implement a solution for your client's online internal web application portal. The goal is to provide access to their 210 employees, especially software developers, without using a public IP address. So they are not allowed to use a public IP address to connect to this online internal web application. Alright, so this is necessary to ensure high security and prevent the web application server from being exposed to the internet. So to achieve this, you have to utilize Azure VPN gateway. With Azure Point-to-Site VPN feature, which we have in VPN gateway, employees can establish an encrypted tunnel between their individual environment and Azure using their own computers. So this allows for secure connectivity. Right, by configuring VPN's connection, employees connected to their respective locations such as home office A will gain access to the necessary resources. So this solution basically will ensure that employees can access and make amendments to the web application as needed. Alright, while maintaining the desired level of security. The challenge lies in avoiding the conventional and less secure way of using a public IP address to connect to servers. Alright, so in response to their high security concern, you as a cloud engineer are to craft a solution using Azure VPN gateway by employing the remarkable point-to-site VPN technology. So when it comes to Azure Virtual Network Gateway, it basically supports both site-to-site VPN connection and point-to-site VPN connection. What is site-to-site VPN connection to start with? So site-to-site will help you to establish a secure connections between Azure Virtual Network and on-premise network. Okay, so between Azure network and on-premise network. So this allows resources in the Azure Virtual Network to communicate with resources in your on-prem network securely. Now, point-to-site, which is basically what we'll be using today, will allow individual client devices to connect to an Azure Virtual Network no matter their location. Okay, so this will enable remote access for clients to resources in Azure Virtual Networking, and that is what the employees will be making use of. They can be able to connect securely from their various homes. Alright, so this will basically help to establish an encrypted tunnel between the client device and the virtual network, providing remote access to Azure resources. So basically this point-to-site VPN is typically used for scenarios where employees need to connect to Azure resource with their devices. Alright, in different locations. They might be working from home and they can travel and all that. The goal is to connect securely to Azure resources. But one may ask, employees could have used the public IP address of the server to connect. Why point-to-site VPN solution? Now I'll answer this question. First of all, do you know that public IP addresses expose the server directly to the internet, increasing the risk of unauthorized access and cyber attacks? So it will make your server vulnerable. Alright? While VPN solutions like Point-to-Site provide encrypted tunnel for secure communication, helping you to reduce those risks. Secondly, public IP addresses lack access control, allowing anyone with the IP address to potentially access the server. This is not secured at all right? And we don't want that for this internal web application. So VPN solution will require authentication. By the time you start using it, it will require authentication just to ensure that only authorized individual with VPN credentials can connect. Addresses transmit data over the public internet without encryption, compromising privacy. Whereas VPN solution will help you to encrypt all communication without or rather to encrypt all communication within the VPN tunnel, providing higher privacy and data protection. The fourth point I have here is that VPN solution will offer you a consistent access to resources regardless of location, allowing employees to work efficiently and securely from their home offices, while public IP addresses lack this consistent workflow. So right now, I'm going to show you the architecture of this project. Or we'll start by creating our virtual network. After the virtual network configuration, we'll go over to launching a virtual machine, all right, which is basically what will be hosting the internal web application. After that, we'll go over to VPN gateway, all right, and from VPN gateway we get down to Azure VPN, and we then talk about installation of certificates, where we'll have the client and the root certificate, and then we will go ahead to download the VPN and install it. After that, we'll run a connectivity test, and after connectivity test, we'll then connect to our Azure virtual machine, and I'm going to show you how we can connect to it without the public IP address, making our connectivity or our environment to be more secured than the conventional way of using public IP address. If you are ready, I'm actually ready. So now let's go over to Azure portal to get started. So this is my Azure environment, my Azure portal. So the first resource we'll be creating is Azure Virtual Network. So let's go ahead and deploy Azure Virtual Network. So over here, all you need to do is to type Virtual Network, and this is it here. I'll click on it. Alright, so click on this plus button to create a virtual network. Alright, so in the resource group, I'll go ahead and create a new resource group for this project. So I'll just name this demo project RG. Alright, so I'd like to name this virtual network VNet. Or rather, demo VNet. Right, so I'll be using East US, and that is fine. So I'll click next. So here I would like to use the IPv4 address range, which is this 10.0.0.0/16. Alright, so coming to subnet, we can actually go ahead and make use of the default subnet over here, and I'll click on security, which is next, and here, okay, so I don't really have much to, we can just leave this here as default, right? And I'll click next. I can so I don't want to tag this. Let's go ahead and review this. So I'll click on review. Validation has passed. So let's go ahead and create this virtual network. Awesome. So this has deployed. So let me click on go to resource. And as you can see, this is our virtual network. All right. From our architecture, the next resource to deploy is Azure Virtual Machine. So I'll go here and type virtual. Okay, I can see it here already. So I'll click on that. And over here, I'll click on create Azure Virtual Machine. Alright, so the resource group should be the one we just created. So I'll select this, and here the virtual machine name, I would like to name this project VM1. Okay, the region is East US and is fine. The availability option is good. I'm not gonna touch these ones. So the image we should be using is Ubuntu Server 20.04. That is fine. The architecture is fine. Coming to the size, this size is fine. 2 vCPU and 8 gig. That is fine. Okay, so coming over to so we'll be using SSH public key instead of password. All right, so this username, I can make use of this username, and this keeper name, I would like to give this name as Azure key pair. Right, so I'll scroll down, and under public inbound port, I'll select none. Okay, select none, and yeah, so let's go over to disk. So scroll down, OS disk type premium SSD is good, we can make use of that. We use platform. Okay, so I'll basically leave this is looking fine. So let's go over to networking. Okay, so our network has been selected already, so we'll make use of that, and we'll be making use of the first subnet. It looks good. Public IP, so here we won't be using a public IP, remember, so I'll select none. All right, then this nick is basic and is fine. The public inbound port is none. Okay, so let's go down. So I like to delete nick when VM is deleted, so I'm gonna tick this and go over to management. I'll rather leave all this here as default. All right, so I'll go ahead now and click on review. Alright, so let's go ahead and create it. I'm gonna pause this video so it doesn't just get okay. Before that, so this one to the keeper want to get downloaded to my computer, so I'll click on download private key and create resource loaded. So I'll just click on return to create virtual machine, and I'm gonna pause this video. I'll be right back once it is deployed. So after like a minute, I could see that deployment is complete. So let's go to resource, and I'm going to show you that this VM doesn't have a public IP based on our configuration here. So it doesn't have any public IP, and that is what we actually want. Right, from our architecture, the next resource is virtual network gateway. So let's go to that resource. So here I'm gonna type virtual network, and this is virtual network gateways. I'll click on it. So create virtual network gateway. Alright, so here demo VNet gateway. Right, the region is fine. The gateway type is VPN, and that is fine. VPN type is route based. That is good. So the virtual network here is the virtual network which we've created. So this is it here. I'll select it, and coming down here, everything looks good. So the public IP address is to, so it will be creating a public IP address for this virtual network gateway. So remember, this is for virtual network gateway and not for the server, not for virtual machine. All right, so the public IP address name, so I'm just gonna give this VNet gateway IP. All right, so going down here, the availability zone, so I would like to make this zone redundant. Okay, and enable active mode. I don't want to enable this, so leave it disabled. And yeah, so that is basically all I need to do here. And I'll go ahead and click on tags. I can just tag this. Alright, so let's go ahead and review this and then create. Alright, validation is has been passed, so I'll go ahead and create this. So this may take some time, so I'm gonna pause this video and I'll return once it is deployed. Now the deployment is complete after waiting for about 20 minutes. So you may need to give yours time. I had to, pause the video so it doesn't just get long unnecessarily. Alright, so now let's go to resource. I'll click on it. And our virtual network gateway has opened. So here I would like to go to point-to-site configuration, as you can see here. So I'll click on it. So here, configure now. So we have to configure this. For the address pool, we'll be making use of 172.16.0.0/24. And the tunnel type we'll be making use of is IKEv2 and SSTP SSL. Alright, the authentication type here is Azure certificate, so I'll select Azure certificate. And okay, so here comes the root certificate. So here we are to generate client and root certificates from our computer, and yeah, and we can then fill in the information. So let me take you to my computer and let's generate this certificate. So I've got the command for generating root certificate and client certificate. This is basically for authentication, all right? So I'll go ahead and copy this root certificate, and I will show you how we can generate this root certificate. So open up your Windows PowerShell and just paste this. Right. So when you copy yours, right? Because I'm gonna be leaving this command in the description below. When you copy yours, this CN, you have to replace it with your own name, right? The one that suits you. So let me show you. So here this CN equals to Helen Demo Root Sat. You can actually replace yours with your own name, the name you want to give to your root certificate. All right, so that is basically what you need to replace here before you run this command. The same thing here for child certificate. Okay, so now having run this, let's go ahead and run this one as well. Okay, I think I didn't copy this well, so copy it again. Great. So it actually generated a thumbprint, and this is it here, and the subject is Helen Demo Child Certificate. Great. So here, let's go over to SAT Manager. So just type SAT MGR and press enter, and it will open up this window for you. So here, click on personal, click on certificate, and you will see your root certificate and client certificate here. Now what is the next step? So basically we want to copy this root certificate to we want to copy the root certificate to Azure, all right? And we'll be leaving the shell certificate here. So just right click on the root certificate and click on all tasks, click on export, and it will give you this page, welcome to certificate export wizard. This wizard helps you to copy certificate and certificate trust list and certificate revocation list from a certificate store to your disk. Just all you have to do is click on next. So here, just leave this, no, do not export the private key. Click next, and here I'd like to select the base64 encoded. So I'll go ahead and select base64 encoded and click next. So here, to export this, you need to enter file name. So I'm just gonna type root sat file. So you can go ahead and click on browse, so you can save it to your desired location in your computer. Click on, I'll be creating a new folder for this. So root sat folder, press enter. Okay, so just give the same name, root certificate file, and I'm gonna save this. All right, you can see the file path now is displaying here. So let's click next, and that is it. So I'll click on finish. The export was successful. Please ensure your export is successful. I'll click OK. So let's go over to I'm actually exposing this because I'll get rid of it at the end of this video. So yeah, so let's go over to Azure and we continue. Root okay, and the public certificate data. So here the file, the root certificate that we've exported, we have to copy the content and paste it here. All right, so I'll go to the location, I'll copy this. Please don't expose this in your environment. All right, it's because I'll be destroying this at the end of this tutorial, so it doesn't really matter. But if you're using this in your organization or you're setting this up in your environment, if it's not for, basically you are not actually supposed to expose it. Okay, so let's go over to our Azure. Let's continue with the configuration. So here I'll just paste this here, so just paste it and that is it. Okay, so when you want to revoke certificate, this is where you need to revoke the certificate and then copy the thumbprint that was displayed to you after you generated it. Okay, so you paste the thumbprint for revoking, but now we are not revoking this. So I'm actually done with this configuration, so I'll click on save and it will start saving. So let's give this a moment and that'll be fine. So after this has been saved, we'll go ahead to downloading the VPN client and installing it in our computer. I'll be back in a moment. So I could see that our point-to-site configuration has now saved. Okay, so just to point out why the client and root certificate is used. So basically the client certificate is used by the client devices to authenticate and establish a secure connection with the Azure Virtual Gateway. All right. The root certificate, on the other hand, is used to validate the authenticity of the client certificate. It's actually crucial to keep the client certificate confidential. This certificate is unique to each client device and should not be shared or exposed to unauthorized individuals. All right. So because this is basically used for authentication and establishing a secure connection, it should be kept confidential basically. All right, so we can go ahead now. If you look at this place, you can see download VPN client. So I'll go ahead and download this VPN client to my computer. Okay, so it has actually downloaded as a zipped file, so I'll click on this to open it. And so once you click on extract all, so this is where my certificate got downloaded. Once you click on extract all, it will land you to this page. All right, so you can choose the location you want to extract this file in. I'll just leave it this way and I'll click on extract. Okay, so it has extracted. So here the concentration is in this Windows AMD 64. So click on it, just double click and you see this VPN client setup AMD. Click on it, or rather double click, and it will land us here. Okay, so here so let's click on more info, and it's trying to say that Microsoft Defender smart screen prevented. So just go ahead and click on run anyway, and it will ask you, do you want to allow this app from an unknown publisher to make changes to your device? Just click yes. Yes, I trust this. Do you wish to install a VPN client for demo VNet? I'll click yes. So I'll also like to point this, ensure your thumbprint, you can just copy it out somewhere and store it in a secured place. All right, so I'll go ahead and close this. And for you to check if the installation is completed, just come to your search bar and type VPN settings. Okay, I have it here already, so I can just click to open it, and you can see demo VNet is here. Just click on it once. Is it here? Demo VNet. Okay, so let's connect right now. So let's try the connection and see if we can connect. Okay, so this demo VNet, remember this is our virtual network in Azure, and we installed our VPN client. Okay, so after the installation we have this over here, so we are to connect this to our computer. So that will be a form of authentication. Without much delay, let me click on connect, and you see connect option here. In properties, you can actually see, idle time before disconnecting. You can customize this, the redial attempt and all that, but I'm not going to be doing any of this. I just want to click on connect, and it will ask you, do you want to allow this app to make changes to your device? Just click yes, and it will start the authentication process. Okay, and as you can see, it has connected. Great. So right now I will show you how we can connect our virtual machine. All right. So the virtual machine, we're assuming that it is running the internal web application. So I'll demonstrate how we can connect to this Azure VM without needing a public IP address. As long as yours is connected, you are good to go. So let's go, and so I'll go to Azure. Let's copy the private IP address. Okay, so I'll click on virtual machines. Cancel. Okay, first of all, yeah, we've saved it, so this has been saved already. I just want to click on virtual machine. So this is our virtual machine, so click on it, and then come in here. All I need is to copy the private IP address, and this is the private IP address over here. So copy it, and then I'll go over to my terminal so we can connect. Before we connect, I would like to go to CMD, just search for command prompt on your computer, whether you're using Windows or Mac. All right, just open your terminal, and I want to ping this to, just to verify if we can connect to this. And as you can see, great. So I would like to connect with my git bash, and let's connect to this server. All right, but before I go ahead, this is where my terminal opens to. All right, so I want to ensure that my keeper, which was downloaded to my computer, is in this part. So what I'll do now is to copy it and paste it in this part, so you should do the same. Alright, so I've done that. Let me clear this. Now we can run the command to connect, ssh-i, and I'll type the keeper name, which is Azure Keeper. .pem, and then the username I used is Azure user. Remember the username when you were creating your virtual machine, right? So Azure user as, and then we type, or rather I'll paste. Okay, so let me copy the public IP address again. Sorry, the private IP. So going back, I'll paste this here, and that is the command. So press enter, and let's see if we can connect. Are you sure you want to continue connecting? I'll enter yes, and great, we are able to connect to our Ubuntu virtual machine. All right, so if this is the internal, if this is the server that is hosting the internal web application, as you can see, we are able to connect without going through the conventional way of using the public IP address to connect. Okay, so right now the employees are good to go, right? So they can, authenticate and have this in their computer so they can easily connect to the resource, the Azure resource or the internal web application from different locations and carry out their task. Right, so this is basically the solution for using Azure VPN solution in your environment. I believe you enjoyed this video, and please, if you're yet to subscribe, can you subscribe to this channel? Give me a thumbs up if you like this video, and please stay connected because I'm gonna be publishing more videos on cloud and DevOps, so you don't want to miss out. So thank you, and I'll see you in my next video.